Every story needs conflict. Without it, there's just not much drama or action. But conflict at your table doesn't need to be a huge world-changing thing. Often I've found the kind of internal character conflict can be just as or even more dramatic than an external fight. So in today's video, I'm going to go over 5 methods for creating some internal conflict that you can use in your next game. First, conflict really boils down to opposing wants. One person wants something that someone else has, or perhaps someone or something stands in their way of getting that thing. That someone could be the same person that wants something. We can contain multitudes. And I've talked before about how not everything needs to be a world-ending conflict. Well, a lot of these kind of smaller conflicts can be more personal conflicts done kind of a little bit more internally, but still played out at the table, where a character has to struggle with a choice or decision they have made or have to make. And this is where a lot of character development can happen, and that struggle is really how characters are made. So my first suggestion is to set up a situation where the character's favorite problem-solving tool isn't available. This is especially great if you feel like your campaign is in a rut. Do you have a character that solves every problem with a fight? Put them in a situation where they don't have their magical weapon or they just can't fight. Do you have a spellcaster who uses magic for everything? What happens if they find themselves in an anti-magic zone? While this is a little less of an internal struggle, there is going to be perhaps some internal growth and character development as the characters are figuring out what other strengths they might have. So first, figure out what your player's strengths are and come up with a situation that's going to force them to think outside of the box and find another option, find another solution. I often find these moments are the most memorable in game and do come out, and the characters do come out different and changed and having progress because of that kind of internal conflict of realizing, oh, this is how I always solve things, but I don't have this option. Just make sure as you're doing this that it doesn't come across as any kind of punishment and it isn't permanent. Give your characters back their strength once the situation has passed. Next, make your characters face their fears or overcome a flaw. Those flaw parts of the character sheets are great plot hooks that you as the game master can use. Are they deadly afraid of spiders? Then place the item that they must get for a quest at the heart of a spider's web. Does your character never back down from a fight? Put them in a situation where they need to swallow their pride and walk away, or there's going to be a setback or consequences they would rather not deal with. There's going to be a lot of internal conflict in these moments, and it's also a great opportunity for the party to assist without just stepping in and doing it for the character. Make sure you kind of set it up that the characters still have to be involved and not just oh, I'll let another party member handle this. That doesn't really make them face up to it. But the rest of the party can assist and can have some really great roleplay moments come out of this as they're trying to help the character get through this hurdle. Before I get to the rest of the methods, I want to take a quick moment to thank all of our patrons, especially Marty. The best way to support our channel and help us make more videos for you is Patreon. So head on over to our page and pick a membership level that works for you. Another example of using stuff on the character sheet or from players' backstories is making them face their past mistakes. Look, everyone has made a mistake in their life, whether it's purposeful or just due to neglect, maybe something they aren't really aware of. And being in a situation where you have to face your biggest mistake is gonna have some drama. You can introduce this in a variety of ways. The person they've wronged could show up and the party needs this person on their side. You might run into the family of the person that you left at the altar. Okay. Maybe you have to return to the place where it happened and perhaps you're haunted by the literal ghosts of your past, or just being in the place you're reminded of what happened and have to kind of face up to that and own up to it. Even if you have a character that doesn't have something like this written in their backstory, you can create something. Maybe there's a little thread that you can kind of pull and expand into a bigger story. Or maybe it's a wrong they just weren't even aware they made, but now have to face up to it. or run from it. Like, if you've got a paladin or cleric that's like, I've always done good, I am a good person, and suddenly it's like, hey, I'm the person whose village burnt down because you did X. Oh boy, that's going to have some fun, drama and conflict and story moments in there. It's just going to be fun. Make your players pick between the lesser of two evils. Maybe they have to pick who to save when there just isn't enough time to save both individuals. Maybe they're forced to pick a side between two different sides they happen to both agree with and care about, but can't, stay Switzerland in the middle. Whatever it is in these moments, you as the GM need to make the stakes and the choices clear. Have, both situations, kind of both outcomes are not great and not I think it works really well when they're not great, kind of at the same level, but for different reasons, because that makes the character have to make a clear choice. And it's not like, well, I like this person more than this person. Now, there is always the option of a way around it if your players or characters are smart enough. They may see another angle to the problem that you just didn't see. So if they do find this, I think, and it's a clever solution that fits, go with it. But try and anticipate, what are the possible ways that they could kind of go around this and maybe have plans for if they try that. So you are kind of presenting this situation where they do have to deal with this internal conflict and make a decision. And finally, deals with the devil. This could be a literal devil or more figurative. But unlike the lesser of two evils, this is a situation where the only choice is bad. There's really only one choice. It's not even picking between two. You can also use the kind of enemy of my enemy trope in this kind of situation where they're going to have to work with somebody who is, evil or are opposite of what they believe and a possible enemy, but work with them to defeat perhaps a greater enemy. And there's going to be some internal struggle, both within the character and the party, to accept and then potentially figure out ways to get out of the deal with no strings attached. I especially like this if you use it as a long-term conflict. Perhaps they now owe this devil a favor, but they don't know what exactly or when that favor is going to get called in and collected. That character is going to be kind of looking over their shoulder for a while. It's going to create this long-term conflict. Or maybe by associating with them, this nefarious individual, their reputation is tarnished and now they have to rebuild it. So now you've created this whole storyline from this one kind of internal conflict moment and choice. So how do you like to create conflict for your games? Do you like to have a lot of kind of those internal conflict moments or stick with a lot more of the external conflicts? Do you also have any fun stories that used some of these methods? I'd love to know about them down in the comments below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time on Roll for Initiative. Bye!